Debanking. It's all the rage, right? Debanking means when you have a customer, a person or a business really that you don't like, you debank them. What does that mean? Well, if you're US Bank or your Bank of America or your BMO Harris Bank or whatever your bank is, you just close their accounts. You say you have 72 hours to move your money somewhere else. We don't want to do business with you. This is one of the biggest concerns that I have going forward because there is only a small amount of banks out there that aren't owned by other banks. And then the same is true with credit cards. I mean, there's only 3 major credit cards, right? And it's very easy for them to coordinate and say, we don't like your ideas. We're going to debank you. You don't get to keep your money in our banks. You don't get to do business with us anymore. All this kind of thing. A modern example, we saw Trigonometry podcast getting debanked. We saw Kanye West get debanked. We've seen lots of people throughout history get debanked. We've seen people banned from Patreon because MasterCard or PayPal told Patreon that we don't like this person. You must stop doing service with them. You must stop servicing them. Laura Loomer. To me, when our government has allowed this, not even a practical monopoly, but a literal monopoly to exist with banks and credit cards and things of this nature, they then also have a responsibility to protect us against ideological attacks. And this is exactly what's happened. Debanking row breaks out after Bank of America shuts down account for, quote, ultra-conservative Christian charity that serves impoverished Ugandans. The Memphis-based nonprofit Indigenous Advanced Ministries has filed a complaint to the Tennessee Attorney General's office over concerns its accounts were closed because the bank disagrees with their religious views. The organization, which claims they have had a banking relationship with Bank of America since 2015, purports pro-life and anti-same-sex relationship values on its website, something they're entirely within their rights to do. Bank of America firmly denies that it debanked the body over these views, telling DailyMail.com that their religious beliefs are not a factor in any account closing decision. But I don't believe that that's true. Now, maybe not specifically religion, but we certainly know examples of debanking being ideologically driven, right? Campaigners are calling for greater transparency now over how the firm decides which accounts to shut down, adding cases of political and religious debanking appear to be on the rise. The term debanking hit headlines across the globe last month when UK politician Nigel Farage, who pioneered the country's Brexit movement and was a close ally of former President Donald Trump, also was debanked. Historically, the term referred to the case where banks limit financial services to businesses it assessed as having money laundering risks, but firms are increasingly being accused of closing accounts over reputational fears. We know this is a true. I don't know why you would say that it's I don't know that you could say it's, how do I say this? It's obvious. What do you mean accused? We have dozens of examples. Accounts associated accounts belonging to partner entity Indigenous Advanced Customer Center and a church operating at the same address, Servants of Christ Community, were also closed. The correspondence from Bank of America says, upon review of your accounts, we have determined you're operating in a business type we have chosen not to service at Bank of America. This is very similar to the letter that the folks over at Trigonometry got. Representatives for Indigenous said they repeatedly asked for an explanation about the closure. On May 24th, the organization was sent a follow-up letter that stated its risk profile no longer aligns with the bank's risk tolerance. At the time, Indigenous said it had $270,000 in deposit account. By the way, this is a perfect time to remind you, quarteringgold.com, one word, Quartering Gold. I've partnered with Goldco. Help protect your investments. Look into precious metals. If you qualify, they've got a free Ronald Reagan silver coin this week, quarteringgold.com. The charity works with Ugandan ministries to provide support for orphaned and vulnerable children and prisoners in the African country. Under the core beliefs tab of its website, it endorses a number of evangelical Christian views, including that all human life is sacred. Ooh, terrible. From conception to natural death. It also advocates that marriage between one man and one woman is the only proper context for relations. A letter to the Attorney General's office signed by board members Steve Happ and Bob Phillips read, "Being forced to transition so quickly caused a great deal of trouble for us. It also disrupted our mission to Uganda in June, and we were temporarily unable to pay salaries in Uganda, and we were left very confused. They added our mission and work supporting Ugandan children and families through Indigenous Ugandan ministries has remained the same since we were founded in our first open bank accounts with Bank of America. I'm concerned that Bank of America canceled our partners' accounts because it disagrees with our religious views." A spokesperson for Bank of America said the closure was related to a part of the indigenous operations, which included debt collection. On its website, Indigenous said it is dedicated to pursuing the recovery of overdue invoices on behalf of our clients. Okay, so they collect debt? I mean, I don't really, it'd be one thing, hypothetically, it'd be one thing if they were involved in some kind of fraud, or they had some sort of weirdness going on, or they had too many chargebacks. These are all legitimate reasons that you could maybe lose your bank account. Bank of America claimed debt collection services are a clear violation of its policies. The bank added it only became aware of this part of the charity's operation when the new account was opened in January. However, when DailyMail.com asked Bank of America to share the exact part of its policies that say it doesn't service debt collection, it was unable to do so. Uh-oh. The firm added that the organization's business operations in Uganda also made it a high-risk account. Sure, but you took them in the first place, right? Maybe all of this is true, right? Maybe all of this is true. And they legitimately, decided, hey, your risk reward analysis stuff is, it now no longer fits what we wanted before. But I mean, this whole firing people from your bank is a very new thing, other than people who are involved in fraud. In a statement, Bank of America spokesperson said, "We are proud to provide banking service to nonprofit organizations affiliated with diverse faith communities throughout the United States. Religious beliefs are not a factor in any account closing decision. Our U.S. division that serves small businesses doesn't offer banking services to organizations that provide debt collection services, even though they were unable to actually provide the terms of service that said that. And it doesn't serve small businesses operating outside of the United States." Again, maybe this is all true. Maybe it is. Was it true for Nigel Farage? Was it true for Trigonometry? Was it true for Laura Loomer? Was it true for... I mean, the list goes on and on and on of people that get Kanye West, right? These people debanking you. Normally, you could make the argument, hey, it's a free world, or it's an open market. Capitalism makes the decisions. A capitalist society is, this sometimes you fire your customers. I've fired customers before in my marketing agency days, and even back to my computer repair days. But it's a little different when you have 3 options because of the way that, our government has let these people continue to reduce the amount of competition and raise the moat for new companies to come in. Very similar to the situation we have with iTunes and Apple, for example, right? So it's very, 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 very odd, very suspicious. You could choose to believe Bank of America or them. The reality is the truth is probably somewhere in the middle, but I expect there'll be more of this, not less, over the next couple of years, especially with the election coming up.